staying in relationships that refuse to nourish, feed, and offer you reciprocity. Just because someone doesn't mean you any harm doesn't mean they mean you any good. What's up, everybody? It's your favorite hood healer. It's your favorite hood high priestess. It's your favorite motivational dominatrix. It's your favorite auntie, captain, goddess, king, lady speech in the place to be. And I want to welcome you back to my channel. You could be anywhere in the world. As a matter of fact, you are somewhere in the world. And you're also sharing a little bit of time and a little bit of space with me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, if you are feeling all of this, and if you are feeling all of me, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notifications bell so you can keep up with all of my happenings and shenanigans, goings ons, and things. Now, let's take a deep dive into today's video, shall we? What's up, sugar honey dumplings? It's your favorite auntie, captain, goddess, king, and we are back. I am currently at the eye doctor. You know, your favorite auntie, captain, goddess. Gotta get them eyes checked out for my yearly appointment. Also, I need some new contacts, and I broke my glasses. You can't tell right now, but they're hanging on by a thread. So we here adulting doing what we have to do. Do you understand what I am saying? However, I have got a word on my heart to share with you, and these errands ain't gonna stop this word from being delivered. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? This might end up being a new series on this page for a while. This might be a series I might call Pandemic Lessons, or Things I've Learned from the Pandemic, okay? I woke up this morning really thinking heavily about the concept of quality in relationships over quantity, okay? Quality in relationships over quantity. All right, it is one thing to walk away from relationships that are actively malicious and that mean you harm, that mean you bad, that don't mean you good. But it's another thing to stay in relationships where they don't mean you any harm, they don't mean you anything bad, but they also don't necessarily mean you anything good. Stop staying in relationships. One of the big things that I am taking away from this pandemic is stop staying in relationships that do not nurture you, that do not support you, that do not pour into you, that do not give to you, that do not actively uplift your highest good. Baby, it's all about quality over quantity over here. Do you understand me? Life is entirely too short to waste your time in relationships that tax you. Let's get all the way into it, okay? Let's get all the way into it. But first, let me finish this eye appointment. And we back like we never left. Eye appointment is finished. New contacts are ordered. New contacts are actually in, and glasses are ordered as well. In 2 weeks, I will have some new spectacles. One thing I do like about going to getting my eye appointments is they give you a fresh set of contacts, that basically a free pair of contacts. So I'm golden for the next 30 days. I love it. I love it. Anyway, let's get deep into this video, baby. Let's get back into the subject at hand. Let me tell you something. For me, life has always been a very precious and beautiful and valuable thing. But this panorama, this Panera Bread, this parallel lines, this pandemic that we have been surviving has put a period on that concept for me in a very deep and meaningful way. Not even a period, it has put an exclamation point on how precious life is for me and to me. One of the things that I took away and that I am taking away from this pandemic is the fact that quality time is absolutely necessary. Quality friendships are absolutely necessary. Listen, I'm a death doula, and that is exactly what that means. I literally help people cross over to the other side. I have helped people transition from this life into the next life. I have helped them walk their path into the ancestral realm. Being a death doula has made me savor and enjoy and appreciate life at exponential levels. Being that close to death, being a worker of death, being a worker with death has made life taste so sweet to me. I was already living the holy hell out of my existence before I became a death doula, but at the moment when I actualized that point of my life just became that much more vibrant, okay? So life has been precious to me for a long time. But this pandemic came in and took a lot of people. And it didn't just take people, it stole lifestyles. It took so much from everybody. It took a lot from everybody. It took a lot from everybody. And for me, it reiterated the fact that life is absolutely short. And as short as it is sweet. It is sweet. And we have no time to waste. We have no time to waste. We have no time to waste. A big part of not wasting time is not spending time with people who aren't actively loving you. For me, love needs to be active, baby. It needs to be active. Don't just tell me you love me, show me. Give it to me, make me feel it. I have no idea when I'm gonna leave this planet. I have on good authority that I'll be here for a while, but also we don't know what's going to happen. And even if I am here for a long time, that doesn't mean everybody who's in my life right now is going to be here for a long time. What matters the most to me is that the people that I spend time with, they feel loved by me, they feel poured into by me, they feel good. They feel good and they feel my love. What matters to me is that the people that I am around, they pour into me, they love me, they make me feel good. I lost a few people during this pandemic. The people that I lost, their lives were precious. We weren't super close, but also I knew them, and their loss, I feel it. One of the things that I was at peace with when I started hearing about people passing is every person that I heard of that passed, I thought about my last interaction with them, and I was happy. I was happy. Because everybody that I have lost, I have given good things to. They knew that I loved them. They know that I loved them. And that's what matters to me. I want people to know that they were loved by me and they were loved well. But I also want to know, whenever it's my time to meet Brother Death, that the people who are in my life love me and they love me well. Life is entirely too short to hang around with people, to remain in relationships and situations when you are not actively being poured into. I grew up in seeing and experiencing a lot of nastiness. I had a mother who was addicted to drugs. I had a father who was extremely abusive in all the ways, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. I grew up around a lot of crazy. I grew up around a lot of dysfunction. I grew up around and with a lot of abuse. When I was in my 20s and I began to, my late teens and early 20s, when I began to really craft my life, make my life, form my life, build my chosen family, I had a point of reference for people that was ugly. Very, very ugly. So in the beginning, in my early life, the bar for relationships was set low for me. In building my chosen family, in developing friends, I ended up taking on friendships and being friends and in relationship with people who, again, they weren't necessarily malicious, but they didn't mean me good. And for that moment in my life, that was acceptable. Because I was learning. I was healing, and I was learning. I was learning what healthy relationships were, and I didn't have a point of reference for that. There were a few relationships in my 20s that, I don't regret any of the relationships that I've experienced, but there were a few relationships that formed in my 20s. That in the beginning, those were good relationships for me. But as the years progressed, they became stagnant relationships for me. They became relationships that were more like trash cans. I would pour all my things into it and never receive anything good back from these relationships. And this pandemic This pandemic reminded me, it showed me that there were a few people in my life remaining that occupied that type of space, that they didn't necessarily mean me harm. They weren't out here talking mess about me. They weren't out here disparaging my name. They weren't out here actively pouring gasoline on my plans. They weren't out here actively fighting against me. They weren't out here saying bad things. They weren't out here doing bad things. They weren't out here messing me up. But they also weren't supporting my dreams. They also weren't healing with me and growing with me. They also weren't uplifting me. They also didn't necessarily make me feel good. They also weren't contributing to my world. They also didn't take an actual specific intimate interest in me, my wants, my desires. They also weren't pouring into me. They also didn't show me they loved me. And this pandemic made me realize in the most intimate and deepest ways that those relationships were no longer acceptable and they were never actually enough. I refuse to stay in situations where I'm not being fed, because any relationship that I'm participating in, I am feeding you. I refuse to participate in any relationships where I'm not being poured into. I refuse to participate in any relationships where I'm not being given to, because you best believe I am giving 100% of what I got to you. I am giving. I am giving. And I need to be given to back. Life is entirely too short. Life is entirely too short. And I am no longer participating in relationships that just because you don't mean me any harm, if you don't actively mean me good, if you don't actively love me, if you don't actively support me, a relationship with me is something you can't have. It's something you can't access. I am imperfect. And there are places where I am problematic. There are places that I need to improve and heal. And even with all of that, I know that I am valuable. My love is valuable. My energy is valuable. My time is valuable. I am valuable. And from here on out, I am only available to people who see this, who know this, who cherish this, who uplift this, who protect this, who want this, and who show it. I am not here for mediocre love or lukewarm friendship. Life is entirely too short for any of that. You and I deserve to be loved actively. We deserve to be loved passionately. We deserve to be loved healthy. We deserve to be loved. And I don't know about you, but as for me in my world, this is what I require. The pandemic made me want to love people better. It made me want to be a better friend. It made me want to be a better lover. It made me want to be a better leader. It made me want to be a better person. It made me want to be a better daughter. It made me want to be a better village member. It made me want to be a better everything. This pandemic makes me want to love people better. It makes me want to love my fans better. It makes me want to love strangers better. It just makes me want to be better and love better. Because life is too short. And the sweetest medicine, the best and most potent and most powerful magic on this planet is love. I want to be better. And I am. And I will dedicate the rest of my life to working to be better. And because I value myself, because I know I deserve all that is good, I also am requiring better. I'm requiring more. Fortunately, most of the people in my life have been doing this, have been doing above this, above and beyond this. Most of the people in my life love me well. They love me good. And they've been loving me well. They've been loving me good. And for this, I am thankful. And I'm going to be honest with you. Most of us, we have been on the same page. This pandemic, most of us, it has caused us to be better. It has caused us to heal. It has caused us to go in and look at our BS, our trauma, our pain, it has caused us to turn an eye inward in the name of improvement, in the name of healing, and it has also caused so many of us to see how valuable we were to each other, how valuable we are to each other. And we have rededicated ourselves to loving each other even better. For this, I am thankful. Life is entirely too short to accept mediocre love. Life is entirely too short to stay in relationships and situations where you are not being fed, where you are not being nourished, where you are not being supported, where you are not being uplifted. Life is entirely too short to be in relationships and to stay around people who don't necessarily mean you harm, but they also don't mean your ass any good. Life is too short. Life is too short. Life is too short. All right, y'all, and that is your word for the day. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and continue the rest of this day, run my errands and do my work. I hope you have a good day, good evening, good morning, good night, good middle of the night, good whenever you encounter this video. If you happen to make it to the end of this video, gold star for you. You are the real MVP. You are the real MVP. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your beautiful comments, for liking, for subscribing, for hitting the notification bell, for doing all of that good stuff. I appreciate you. Today is a beautiful day. This is a beautiful life, and life is too short to waste it on mediocre love. All right? All right. Well, you know the drill. If you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, if you're feeling this, if you're feeling me, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notifications bell so you can keep up with all of my shenanigans and happenings and going ons and things. And now it's time to say goodbye. Until the next video, that is. I'll see all you lovely sugar honey dumplings at some point soon. Peace.